Whenever we are in pain, whenever most individuals are feeling miserable, there is one position that we love to find ourselves in. There is a place in which we put ourselves at. There is a position that we like to fulfill. And that position is the position of a victim. Ooh, it's so good to be a victim. What is the position of a victim? That's the letter I in there. I want to see that the cause of my problems are on the outside. I am suffering because someone has done something to me. I'm in pain because of my ex-wife, my ex-husband, my ex-boss, my stepfather, my stepmother, my neighbor, the enemy. Someone has caused me my pain. So therefore, I am suffering. The handwriting can be ugly, but not misspelled, right? I'm suffering because someone did something to me. Now, all victims have one thing in common. They are very weak. All victims are
Weak.
Question is, why are victims very weak? That's because where we find the cause of our problems is also where we find the solution to our problems. Let's say your car breaks down, and the cause of the problem is the alternator. If you keep changing the radio, will your car work? No, because the cause is the alternator. It's what gives power to the car. So if the cause is the alternator, the solution is change the alternator. So where we see the cause of the problem is also where we see the solution to the problem. So if I believe that my stepmother is the cause of my pain, what would be the solution? Change my stepmother. If you believe that the cause of your pain is your mother-in-law, I believe you. But what are you expecting? You're expecting your mother-in-law to change. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get very along with my mother-in-law. Whenever she calls me from Japan, you didn't get the joke, right?
She's so far away.
As a matter of fact, in the Spiritist Center, there is a meeting called the Mystic Meeting. In this meeting, you must study a lot Spiritism, but most importantly, you must get along with everybody in this meeting. And me and my mother-in-law, we go to the same meeting. So talking about a trial right there. So if you believe that your stepfather is the cause of your pain, what are you expecting to change? You're expecting that he would change his life to improve yours. If you think that your enemy is the cause of your pain, you're expecting this individual to change his life to improve yours. And you know when that's going to happen? Never. Why? Because people will not change their lives to suit your needs. People do change themselves for themselves, not for you. So, as a victim, I am suffering and I'm weak because I'm expecting unchangeable people to change. And when you expect something to happen, and then it doesn't, we create a psychiatric symptom called anxiety. And what does anxiety do to you? It changes your sensation of time. The more anxious you feel, the slower time goes by. If you're happy, time flies by. If you're anxious, it goes very slow. Let's say you're going out with this man, you know he's the love of your life, and then he comes to you and says, listen, we both want to be married, but before we get married, I would definitely not want to live with your mother, so we need to purchase our own apartment. So my company offered me to go overseas for 6 months. And then after we come back, we can get married. You said, no, I'll never let you go. Please stay, I don't care. We live renting, I don't care. We moved to a different place, but you don't have to go. But honey, you know, it's good money. I'll be there for 6 months, I'll come back to your arms, and everything will be beautiful. So he convinces you that he has to go. So now you're taking him to the airplane, you're crying, you know, you cannot deal with your emotions. And every day you're calling this man. Every day you're on the phone for at least 3 hours. And then after 3 months that he's there, he calls you and says, listen, honey, I got a week off. Meet me at the airport Sunday. And this is Thursday. Can you even sleep during Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? No, you're so anxious. And then from the night previously to the flight, you are fully awake. The airplane arrives at 9 o'clock. What time do you get to the airport?
6.
And you're walking back and forth. You keep reading the monitor, 9 o'clock, and suddenly you read the word delayed. Ugh. It's going to be delayed to 11 o'clock. 2 more hours. Those 2 hours feels like a whole day. Then he arrives. When he arrives, if Steven Spielberg is there to record the scene, you could get an Oscar. You jump on this man, you're kissing, you're hugging him, and the entire plane is looking at both of you guys. You go home and you have some ice cream. You go home and have some dinner. And the whole week is just a pure fun. And then on the following Sunday, you're driving him back to the airport again. And you're already crying on your way to the airport. You leave him at the airport, you're going home, you're crying, and you're thinking to yourself, my God, did this week really happen? It seemed that it didn't. It was all a dream. It went by so fast that to me, it never happened. Now, if I ask you, which time felt longer to you? Those 2 hours that the airplane was delayed, or a whole week that you spent with him? Which one felt longer?
2 hours.
The 2 hours. In reference to 7 days. Why? Because anxiety changes our sensation of time. So someone who sees themselves as a victim, not only they're suffering, not only they're weak, but they have a sensation they are prolonging their suffering indefinitely. So the question is, if there is nothing to gain from being a victim, why in the world individuals choose to be a victim? Why? Well, that's because being a victim is an effortless position. There's nothing to do. To be a victim, all I need is just my working finger pointing at people. I'm like this because you did this to me, you did that to me. This is why I'm suffering. Someone is responsible for it. So why do we choose to be a victim? Because it's very easy to be a victim. No work to be done. But at the same time, we are prolonging our suffering indefinitely. If there is one thing that you definitely arrived as in a conclusion in Spiritism is that you are not a victim. We are never victims. Because through the law of action-reaction, cause and effect, I could trace my suffering for something I have done in my past. If we talk about physical problems, very easy. If I have lung cancer, I probably smoked. If I have cirrhosis of my liver, I was drinking before. So I have done something to myself. I have destroyed my machine. But then we say, well, I have emphysema, I have bronchitis, but I'm only 14 years old. I haven't had the time yet to smoke. Well, we did the smoking already in our past reincarnation. We have destroyed our vehicle deliberately due to our passions, and we have free will. We can do anything we want. We can sow any kind of seeds. I can sow orange, apples, tomatoes. But Jesus says we are obliged to reap the fruit that we have sown. So what am I must reap? Orange, apples, and tomatoes. So if I have sown disease, all I can reap are diseases. I have free will. I can do anything I want. Yet I am responsible for what I have chosen to sow. So if I'm sick as 14 years old, I have bronchitis, my smoking I have done in the past. And in the spirit, in the heaven and hell, we'll see that everything that we do to ourselves is imprinted in our perispirit. Our perispirit is the body of the spirit. It's our spiritual body. When we do anything to this vehicle, to this physical machine, not only we're damaging the machine, but we're also damaging the perispirit. And there are many functions to the perispirit. And one of them is to serve as a mold for our next body. So let's say I spend 40 years, 50 years of my life destroying my lung. At my job, when I ask people if they smoke, there is a part of my questionnaire in which I have to go through their drug history. So instead of asking them, do you smoke? I ask them, how much are you paying to invest on your lung cancer? So they look at me, what are you talking about? Do you invest to get lung cancer? How much are you paying? I said, I don't get it. Well, do you use any poisons? What are you talking about? Well, when you smoke, what are you doing to your lungs? Yes, I'm destroying my lungs. Therefore, hence the question. How much are you paying to invest to get lung cancer? Because lung cancer comes for free. You don't have to pay for it. And over there, it's $9. And what is the most mind-boggling? Nurses, health staff, smoking outside the jail. So I did a special message for them. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much about myself today. I did a special message for them. I calculated, if they're investing $8.50 on a pack of cigarettes per day to get lung cancer, that money at the end of the year, it boils down to approximately $2,900. And then, with that money, they could get a vacation for two, all included, to Bahamas. So I put the sign very big. Instead of getting lung cancer, why don't you go to Bahamas? They want to rip the sign, but I put the sign behind the glass. And all the correctional officers have to read the same thing. Our health is something very precious. We must take good care of it. That's when we pray, we are thankful. It's not that God needs to hear us saying thank you. To be thankful, it means we appreciate what we have. It is so important to have health because there are so many people who are having a difficult time breathing. And who you are, without any pain, we are inhaling and exhaling naturally. We're not even paying attention to the movement. The body is doing it automatically. And why do I have that? I have that to serve as a vehicle for my evolution, not to destroy it. So when I deliberately destroy the vehicle, I have to suffer the consequences. Is God punishing me for destroying my vehicle? No. To evolve, to progress, to move forward, there are two ways. One is through love, and one is to grow through love. It's not to look yourself in the mirror and say that you are the most beautiful person. You love yourself, kiss yourself, or buy many shoes or cars. To love ourselves, it means that we're going to choose the best thing for us. So love tries to teach us not to do any harm to ourselves. So when our mother is telling us, don't smoke, what is that? Love trying to teach us not to smoke. Here comes a friend of ours and says, listen, why do you smoke? You're so pretty, you're so handsome, why are you doing this to yourself? It's a waste of your money. What is that? That's love trying to teach us. You see a movie, and you watch in the movie a scene of a person dying. This is love bringing the message that smoking is not good. But then we are so stubborn, we don't listen. Now I get sick. Now I can't breathe. I have a tank by me and I'm breathing directly from the tank. What is going on now? Now it's step number 2. Here is pain trying to teach me exactly what love was trying to say. If I had listened to love, I wouldn't have to go through the pain. So the only reason we suffer in that aspect is because out of a stubbornness. We don't listen, here comes pain to teach us exactly the same thing. So it's not God punishing us. This is, unfortunately, a choice that we have made to learn through pain, through suffering. So I'm destroying my lungs deliberately, then the vehicle itself, the physical vehicle, cannot take the amount of abuse, and I die prematurely. What we call an indirect suicide. The individual did not die of natural causes. He killed himself. Slowly, but constantly. So on the spiritual world, the part on his very spirit that represents the lung will now be defective. When he is being prepared for his next reincarnation, and the sperm from his father meets the egg from his mother and turns into a zygote, the zygote will take its form based on the form of the perispirit. The perispirit will mold the new body. And since the part that represents the lung is defective, what's going to happen? It will mold a pair of lungs, defective. And now the individual will have asthma, bronchitis, emphysema. Who has caused his own disease? He did to himself. So he's not a victim here. He's responsible for what happened to him. So we're constantly shaping our future in that sense. So Spiritism teaches us that we are responsible. And I just explained physical pain. I did not explain moral pain. The parents that we have and we think they're not the best ones, our relatives, our social position, being poor, being rich. And please do not automatically think that if you're being poor, if you are poor, you're going through an expiation here. It's way more dangerous to be rich than being poor. Way more dangerous. Because money is definitely something that we're very sensitive to. It changes personality. You know, you only know people, truly, if they are surrounded by lots of money. So being poor here, or being rich, these are different trials. Being rich, much more danger according to the gospel, according to Spiritism. The person we get married to, kids that we have, these are moral problems. So if I could not trace my suffering to this reincarnation, the answer is on a previous reincarnation. If I am suffering, if I'm a truly victim, I don't deserve this, yet I'm suffering, what we're saying is that God is an unjust God. What we're saying that God doesn't know what He's doing because He punishes people and He favors other people. That's what human beings do, not the Supreme Being. We have caused our suffering. So in that sense, it's not up to God, it's not up to any other individual. There is no such a thing as a devil, but people love to blame the devil for their own pain. The devil did this to me. I'm sorry, the devil didn't do anything to you. You did it to yourself. You know, someone blaming the devil, what they're trying to do, they're expecting the devil to change for their lives to improve. When would the devil change for your life to improve? Never. But we learn here there is no such a thing as a devil. It's just a way of bypassing our responsibility. So we are not the victims. Spiritism teaches that we are responsible instead. What does the word responsible stand for? This is oh my Lord. Response together with able. The word responsible is response plus able. I'm able to give a response to my current situation. Under a victim role, we are unable to give any response. All is left for us to do is to suffer indefinitely. Being responsible means I am able to respond to my current situation. Why? Because if I am a victim and the cause of my pain is on the outside, being responsible, I would not look for the outside as the cause of my pain. Where am I going to look at? Inside. There are certain aspects of my personality that causes my pain. Instead of looking on the outside, I will look in the inside. What is it about me that causes my pain? When we have the wisdom, when we have the courage, when we have the guts, because this takes guts, to see ourselves from this perspective, something magical is going to happen. What's going to happen? Immediately, we will become strong, which is clearly the opposite of weak. The question is, why, as being responsible individual, I become immediately strong? This is why. If, as a victim, the cause of your problems are on the outside, who is the solution to all your problems? Or who are the solutions to all your problems? Outside. Remember, if I believe my mother-in-law is the reason of my pain, to me, who is the solution? My mother-in-law. I'm expecting her to change in order for my life to improve. When that's going to happen? Never. Because people won't change their lives to suit your needs. But being responsible. Who is the cause of my pain? Who?
Me.
I am. Say it.
I am.
Who is the cause of your pain?
I am.
Who is the cause of your pain?
I am.
Again.
I
Therefore, who becomes the solution to our pain?
am.
I am.
We are. I am. Who is the solution to your pain?
I am.
Who is the solution to your pain?
I am.
Stronger.
I am.
Who is the cause of your pain?
I am.
Who is the solution to your pain?
I am.
And that's the power, according to Spiritism. The power within you. Because only you has the power to change you. No one else. So Spiritism completely shifts our perspective. Before we're expecting all these different people here to change, once we understand, once we dive into the Spirit's book, we understand these natural laws. We're not reading here a set of laws created by Allan Kardec. Allan Kardec organized the book, edited the book, but he did not write the book. Those are descriptions of natural laws, especially the third part, the moral laws. The law of worship, the law of work, the law of society, equality, progress, destruction. These are different laws that governs our moral behavior. The law of love. So once I understand that, I know I am the cause of my pain. And although we don't have the time to go through all these problems, details of our personality, we'll go over just one question of the Spirit's book. And if we understand that only question profoundly, if we meditate on the message of that question, just one question out of 1,019 questions, one question can change our whole destiny. Because Allan Kardec, being a great knower of human soul, he asked the highly evolved spirits one question. What is the root to all of our vices? In other words, what is the cause of all of our pain, of all of our misery? So Allan Kardec here implicitly shows to us there are many different kinds of sources of pain. But he did not want to know all these other kinds of sources of pain. He wanted to know the root. When you hear the word root, what comes into your mind? What's the image that you see when you hear the word root? Cause, beginning. But an image. What image comes to your mind? Think of the word root. What image comes to your mind?
Dirt.
Excellent. Thank you so much. A tree. When you look at a tree, can you readily see the root? No. Where is the root? Underneath. We did not even get to the answer, and yet we learned so much from the question. Whatever is the cause of our pain is underneath. Hard to detect. Difficult to see. If it's difficult to see, how can I treat it? How can I eradicate it? See, first clue. Whatever causes our pain, whatever feeds all of our sources of pain, and what are these sources are? We don't have the time. This is a whole seminar. We could discuss about all of them. Jealousy, pride, envy, laziness, vanity. These are different sources of pain. There is a cause to all of these different sources of pain. That's what Allan Kardec was interested in. So if I read that question for the first time, I should not just jump into the question. I must reflect upon the question. What is the question asking me? And why is this relevant to my life in bringing happiness to me? It's amazing how much time we spend preparing ourselves intellectually to guarantee our financial future so we can have a living, so we can guarantee our physical existence. Yet it's also amazing how little importance we give to our moral knowledge that guarantees our happiness, our peace. This is why we live a paradox. We have so much and yet so little. We have fancy places to live, but we barely speak to the neighbor next door. That's the paradox of our society. We have replenished ourselves with things, yet we feel an existential void because we don't know these simple things. Rules of life, laws that governs our universe. And we have here Allan Kardec asking this question for us. And the book is right there. Reading a question per day. Understanding. It's the same as you trying to drive without knowing the traffic laws. You're going to get an accident by the minute you leave your house. By reading the traffic book, passing your license, you're guaranteeing your safety through the streets. We're trying to live through the traffic of life without knowing the rules that governs this traffic. Please, I beg you, read, consult, reflect on the Spirit's book. This is not just a book. It's a collection, a description of the laws of nature that governs your destiny. If we ignore them, we'll keep thinking that all these different things here are the sources of our pain. When in reality, the problem and the solution is right there sitting in front of us. The book is begging us for us to open, read it, dive into it. understand the content. Then I know the rules to safely conduct myself throughout the traffic of life. So in that question alone, the highly evolved spirits, it tells us, the cause of all of our misery, the root to all of our problems, it's called selfishness. That's the answer. Selfishness. As long as I only think about me, it's me and I, it is impossible to experience peace. And why? We explained before. Everything nature shares. In the microcosm, in the microcosm. When I only think about me, I'm going against natural laws. And then I'm going to get the pain, not to be punished, to awaken me to start following this law that was designed in order to take me to happiness as quickly as I can. So Spiritism gives us that power because it teaches us that we should be solidarity. We should practice charity. And we are the solution to all of our problems. Now we are strong. It doesn't matter how hard we get hit by our challenges. We will not fall into a state of despair. What is despair, my friends? It's our loss of hope. We were going through this problem today, Sunday, and we are in a state of despair, which means I am completely going crazy because I don't know what my Monday is all about. Since I don't know what my Monday is all about, I would do something very stupid on my Sunday. That's the state of despair, hopelessness. But when I know that it doesn't matter what happens to me, life is never against me, the loving, conscious entity, the supreme intelligence of the universe, what most religions call God, is not against you. Nothing can be against you. You know that all hard times that we're going through, it's all about a stepping stone in order to move us forward in life. Nothing happens against me. Everything is for me. If I have that perception about my problems, I would never get myself into a state of despair. That will give me resilience. It will give me patience. What is patience? Patience comes from, once again, knowledge, understanding. This part of the word here means science. And what does science stand for? Knowledge. Paix, as in French, peace. So what being patient means? Knowing peace. Being patient, having patience, is knowing peace. It doesn't matter what's going on the outside. I am in peace. I know nothing is against me. Am I going to shed some tears? Will I go through hard times? Yes. Am I going to be in a state of despair? Never. Because I know life is for me, not against me. That's the power within you according to Spiritism. Because you'll be able to overcome any difficulty that will be presented to you. It doesn't matter the hardship that you're facing. Nothing will throw you out of your sync with the laws that governs your life. Because your destiny is within you. So to wrap it up, because time is over, a wise man with his disciples, and this is the same God, okay? He was walking from city to city, learning from life itself. And they approached this particular city, and they noticed an abandoned farm. The barbed wire that was going around the farm had missing 2x4s. There were no plantations of any kind. You couldn't see corns, rice, absolutely nothing. And in the middle of this farm, there was a house with this huge crack on the wall, and parts of the roof were missing. So the disciples naturally concluded that the house was abandoned, the farm was abandoned, but for their surprise, as they approached the house, 4 individuals came out of the house. A father, a mother, and the 2 kids. The 2 kids, they had little shorts on, more rags than any piece of clothes. The father, he looked skinned, grown beard, very pale. And the woman, her hair was all over the place. And that's a big sign that things are not going well. Right? It seems that the hair has a mind of its own. So the wise men approached the father and asked him, "How is life?" And he said, "I hate my life." "Why?" And the farmer says, "Do you see that cow over there?" And the cow was so far away that looked like a cat. An optical illusion, you know. But the cow was very skinny as well. And he said, "I hate my life because my wife, she walks the cow, my kids, they wash the cow, and I get the milk from this cow. As you can see, there's not much grass for the cow to eat, therefore she doesn't give us enough milk, and we all starve. This is why I hate my life." So the wise man said to him, "I will come back in a couple of years, and I hope you're doing better." So he walked with his disciples towards the cow. And you know how animals, they sense the presence of human beings? So as they approached, she kept walking further and further away, until they got into a point that they could barely see the house. And the wise man gave an order to his disciples. "Let's take this cow to the wilderness." The disciples looked at him and said, "But Master, you just heard the men saying that their lives depend on the existence of this cow. And you want us to disappear with this cow?" "Yes, do exactly as I say." So they took the cow away, she disappeared. 4 years went by, here comes the same wise man with his disciples towards the same city. Now they walk towards the farm, and it is completely changed. Brand new shiny barbed wire around the farm with new 2x4s. Plantations of all kinds, corn, rice, beans, different fruits, tomatoes, potatoes. And the house was all fixed up. Brand new painting on the house, no cracks. The roof was completely there. And obviously the disciples concluded another family bought this farm, kicked the old family out, and they fixed the entire farm. But for their surprise, here comes the same individuals from 4 years ago. But now they also look completely different. Healthy and strong. The kids had book bags, which were a sign they were not just simply walking a cow, they were going to school. The man had his beard shaved, he looked strong and healthy, and the woman had her hair done. With a nice dress. So the wise man once again asked the farmer, "How is life?" And he said, "I love my life." "Why?" And the farmer explained, "For some coincidence, the last time I saw you was also the last time we saw our cow. So I had some money saved up, and I bought some food, and we ate that, and I realized if I just bought more food with my money, soon we had no money. Therefore, we didn't have no food. We would starve. So I had to find a different way of dealing with my situation. So instead of just buying food, I decided to buy some seeds. And little did I know how fertile our ground was, because in just a couple of weeks, I had vegetables coming from my own farm. We could eat it. But the ground was so fertile that not only we had enough to eat, but we could start selling as well to our neighbors. So now I was not just eating from my ground, I was making money off of it. And now I sold more vegetables, I got more money, I bought different kinds of seeds, I fixed the farm, I had more money to buy other cows, and life is great. So the wise man turned to his disciples and concluded, the problem with the majority of us in life is not that we aim so high and we miss it. It's because we aim so low and we hit it. We are capable of so much more, yet we settle for so less. Don't settle for less. You're capable of much more, because there's an angel within you awaiting for you to wake him up. Spiritism will help you with that. Thank you so much for your attention.